The last cookie is gone. Somebody in this house is lying.
Roger, it was you. I watched you eat it.
That's exactly what the guilty person would say. But the fingerprints don't lie, Cindy.
They're your fingerprints. It's your jar.
So, we have a match.
In 1903, a man is processed into Leavenworth Prison. The clerk takes one look at him and says, "You're already here." He isn't. But standing in the records room is a photo of a man with the same face, the same name, William West, and a set of body measurements so close to his they were basically identical. Two different men, one identity. And the system built to tell people apart? Couldn't. That single moment, a look-alike the entire justice system couldn't distinguish, is the legend behind the tool we now trust to convict murderers, free the innocent, and unlock the phone in your pocket. The fingerprint. Except, here's the part nobody tells you. The thing we treat as proof itself, the one piece of evidence juries believe can't be wrong, was never actually proven to be unique, and it has been, provably, spectacularly wrong. So where did the fingerprint come from? And should we really trust it? Start with a problem that sounds simple, and absolutely is not. Proving that a person is who they say they are. For most of history, the answer was vibes. Somebody recognized your face. A priest knew your name. If you moved one town over and claimed to be a duke, who was going to check? Identity was basically a rumor other people agreed to believe. That's fine until you invent the repeat offender. Because once you have prisons and criminal records, you need to know, is this the same guy we arrested last year or a first-timer? And every criminal on earth has the same brilliant idea. Just give a fake name. "Officer, I've never been arrested, I'm Steve." You've got nothing to disprove it. Enter a French clerk named Alphonse Bertillon, who in 1879 has a very logical, very French solution. Measure the criminal. Not one measurement, 11. Length of the head, width of the head, the left foot, the right ear, the reach of the arms. Bertillon was convinced that if you took enough measurements of a grown adult skeleton, the combination would be unique. He basically tried to turn every human being into a spreadsheet. And, give him credit, it kind of worked, and it gave us something we still use. Bertillon also standardized the mugshot, the face-forward and profile photo. For about 20 years, Bertillonage was forensic identification. Police measured millions of ears with tiny calipers and felt very scientific about it. There was just one tiny assumption holding the whole thing up, that no two people would ever measure the same. And then two men walked into Leavenworth. But let's rewind, because while Bertillon was measuring ears, other people had been staring at the actual answer for centuries, literally on the tips of their fingers. Ancient Babylonians pressed their fingertips into clay contracts. Ancient Chinese officials used fingerprints on documents. Deep down, humans always sensed those little swirls were personal, a signature you were born with. They just had no idea why, and nobody thought to use them to catch anyone. The first person to really connect the dots is a British administrator in India named William Herschel. In the 1850s, he's drowning in contracts, and locals keep, let's say, renegotiating deals and denying they ever signed. So Herschel starts making them stamp the document with an inked handprint. It's basically a bluff. He's not sure it proves anything, but people stop backing out because now it feels personal. He notices, over decades, that a person's prints just never change. Then, in 1880, a Scottish doctor working in Japan named Henry Faulds publishes a letter in the journal Nature with the actual bombshell. Fingerprints could catch criminals. Left a greasy print at the scene? That's you. He'd basically invented forensic fingerprinting on paper, and here's where it gets gloriously human. Herschel reads the letter and goes, "Excuse me, I was doing this in India first," and fires back his own note. And these two men proceed to feud about who really invented fingerprints for the rest of their lives. Decades of polite, seething, published passive aggression. Nothing unites great minds like fighting over the credit. While they bicker, a third man does the homework. Sir Francis Galton, Darwin's cousin, sits down in 1892 and writes the book that makes it real. He proves the two things that matter. Your fingerprints are effectively unique, and they don't change your whole life. He even catalogs the little forks and islands in the ridges, the points examiners still call Galton details. He calculated the odds of two prints matching by chance at about 1 in 64 billion. Suddenly, the swirl on your finger wasn't a curiosity, it was evidence. Which brings us to a small town in Argentina in 1892, and one of the darkest cases you'll ever hear compressed into a fingerprint. A woman named Francisca Rojas runs from her house screaming that a neighbor has attacked her and murdered her 2 young children. The neighbor is arrested. He's beaten, interrogated, even tied to the children's bodies overnight to try to force a confession. He won't confess because he didn't do it. Because a police official in Argentina, Juan Vucetich, had just built the world's first working system for classifying fingerprints, and an inspector named Alvarez goes back to the scene and finds something on the doorframe, a bloody thumbprint. He cuts the piece of wood right out of the door, brings it in, and compares it. It doesn't match the neighbor. It matches her, the mother. Confronted with her own thumbprint in her children's blood, Francisca Rojas confessed. It was the first murder in history solved by a fingerprint. A smudge did what an entire interrogation couldn't. It told the truth. After that, the fingerprint goes global fast. In India, an officer named Edward Henry builds a filing system so clever you could actually find a print among thousands, the missing piece that made it usable at scale. Scotland Yard adopts it in 1901. Police forces everywhere follow. And remember Bertillon? The ears, the calipers, the 11 measurements? Fingerprints quietly killed his entire system. Because a fixed number of body measurements can collide, 2 people can measure the same. That's the real lesson of those Leavenworth lookalikes. The old system said they were 1 man. Their fingerprints said, instantly, that they were 2. Measuring the body failed, reading the finger won. And this is where the fingerprint became something bigger than a tool. It became a belief. For the next century, the fingerprint was sold as the perfect witness. It can't be bribed. It can't misremember. It doesn't care if you're rich or charming. Juries were told again and again that a fingerprint match was as close to certainty as evidence gets. On TV, the detective holds up the print and the case is closed. Cue the sunglasses. And think about how completely we bought it. You leave your identity on every glass you hold, every door you push, every phone you swipe. You are, right now, shedding a unique, permanent, personal barcode onto everything you touch, all day, without a thought. Trust, printed on skin. It felt absolute, which would be a lovely place to stop. Except forensic scientists have a slightly uncomfortable secret. Here it is. No 2 fingerprints are alike was never actually proven. It's an assumption, a really good one. But in over a century, nobody ran the rigorous study that would truly establish it. And in 2009, a major U.S. scientific review said so out loud. We treat fingerprints as math. They're closer to expert opinion. And that opinion has been wrong. In 2004, a bomb tears through trains in Madrid. The FBI runs a print from the scene and gets a match. A lawyer in Oregon named Brandon Mayfield. Not a maybe. The FBI called it a 100% identification. They arrested him. The problem? He'd never been to Spain. Spanish police matched the same print to an entirely different man, an Algerian national. The FBI had to release Mayfield, formally apologize, and pay him around $2 million. The perfect witness had confidently identified the wrong human being, and that unique barcode? Identical twins, same DNA down to the letter, have different fingerprints. Because your prints aren't really written by your genes. They're shaped by the random way you pressed against the womb before you were born. You are, in the most literal sense, one of a kind by accident. Oh, and if you'd still like to feel special, koalas have fingerprints so close to ours that scientists say you could not tell them apart under a microscope, which means somewhere out there is the theoretical perfect crime, where the only witness swears the culprit was human, and it was a koala. But here's the twist that should feel familiar. After 100 years of using your finger to identify criminals, we handed it back to you. That print is now your password, the thing that unlocks your phone with a touch. The mark that once put a murderer in prison is the same mark you press to check your email. 3,000 years ago, we sensed those little swirls were personal. Turns out we were right, just not for the reason we thought. Your fingerprint was never proof that you're unique. It's proof that you were here.
New theory. The cookie prints don't match a human. We have an intruder, possibly a koala.
There is no koala, Roger.
That's exactly what someone protecting the koala would say.
He's going to be insufferable for a week. Like and subscribe, so it wasn't for nothing.